NPR was the only one to cover it in an American journalism.
I watched on BBC the murder rate in Venezuela.
Yeah.
BBC covered that.
Venezuela
US
has the
News
world's
didn't
most
cover that
dangerous
shit.
city.
Huh?
Venezuela has the world's most dangerous city.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason.
Murder
that.
for hire is such a high rate over there.
Yeah, we all
Side
think.
note about NPR is that their podcast is way better than this one.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
they also have Serial through American Life.
Yeah.
Great shit.
There's actually an episode that I listened to today which really changed my mood because I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm going through a lot of personal demons right now. And it really changed my mood. And it was about happiness and how you can
NPR podcast?
Yeah. And how you can manipulate your own happiness. And they, interviewed Pharrell. And like one of the main things was to be like super grateful. That was like the number one key to being happy and like being able to stop and just look around you, be grateful, and then move on. Sorry, that was a little
I
outside
can
the
say
subject.
straight up that one of the biggest hindrances to my own happiness is my inability to be grateful for the things I have.
Yeah.
If I'm just being honest. Everything in my house isn't big enough or cool enough or new enough or whatever it is, and I constantly...
You're lucky you even have a house.
Well, it's actually one of my things. I was talking to Drew, who, real quick shout out before we head into the last topic, is that Drew is live casting on 2 phones right now, just hovering around the room.
Hey, Drew.
So thank you very much, Drew.
Thank you. Did we get any feedback from the live feed? No.
You got a couple.
Does it say
What does it say?
Michelle's titties look fake?
Your wife said, "Fuck you guys." And someone was commenting for Mr. Infamous saying, "Ryan Reynolds looking ass nigga."
I'll take it. All right.
Damn.
Thank you, listener.
Sexiest man of the
I
year, right?
appreciate that.
What else do we get?
Dude in the red shirt is experiencing cramps right now.
I love it.
Because I'm sitting like this.
He also wrote, "That was a tweet."
That's what happens when you have
On
comics
point.
listen to your podcast.
On point.
Michelle's, the same guy said she talked about it to no one. That was when you were
Talking about
Talked about it to no one.
I guess you're
Pussy Riot, maybe?
Oh, Pussy Riot? Cool. Who was it? Do you know?
DJ Slim Kid.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Silly Kid. That's one of my really good friends, actually.
So for those of our listeners that don't know, you can watch our live feed on Facebook and Instagram
Mhm.
and interact with us and tell Jester that he looks like he's going to queef.
I'm glad somebody told me.
Yeah. Or else tell me that I look like Ryan Reynolds looking motherfucking N-word.
Not in that snow jacket.
DJ Silly Kid, I love you.
Fuck.
Oh my god, that guy's amazing. We should have him on the show one of these days.
I actually do want to take a second here. For those of you that don't know, so our podcast is made up of 9 on-air personalities at this point. Some of them are on a hiatus for the winter season, but in total we have 9 team members, and that includes Michelle Stevenson, who's
Hey, guys.
partying off to do her own thing. But there's actually 2 members of the team that are behind scenes only. Drew's been on the mic a couple times, and the other one is John, who's also been on the mic, Fitzy. And so I just want to make a big shout out as we head into 2017 because Drew is at probably been here more collectively than anyone else, any other co-host. He's always showing up for events. He always does everything behind the scenes for us, so we appreciate you. And Fitz is our Midwest supporter. He plugged us in with a great band called the Dear Misses that's actually going to be launching their new album on our show in February, which we're really excited about. So we do have a lot of cool people behind the scenes helping us, and obviously Mrs. Infamous, Todd's wife for letting him come over here, Jesser's mom for watching his daughter on Monday nights for us. We appreciate all these people in our life. So thank you for letting us
Yeah,
do
my
this.
mom watching my 9 kids. It's really
Yeah.
hard being a mom of
Yeah.
9.
Michelle's slutty ass and all her children.
I'm not slutty. I'm married.
With 9 kids?
9 kids.
That's slutty.
I'm
bro.
Latina. My uterus is a parachute.
This is the way I look at it. You either have more or less kids than Todd has.
I have mass.
And if you have more, you slutty. That's it. That's just dirty slutty.
I'm just kidding. I have no kids. That's gross.
All right, so our last topic for the night, as we evolve through this social media and news coverage and these things that have been happening, what I want to know is, do you think that we are either at the point already or that we will get to the point where social media will actually impact the outcome of our justice system?
Well, it depends on if they start
Ooh.
taking control of it, because they're already starting to. They're trying to take control of what's put out on social media. So if they take control of social media, then they're going to now be able to tell you they control everything.
Do you think we'll get to the point where we are able to be inside the courtroom? I know that got canceled after the OJ trial, but do you think we'll end up back in there
With social media, like,
with just live video feed inside of the courtroom?
I'm sure we'll get back into that. They videotape it already, so I don't see why they wouldn't go back into that if they need its audience. It's ratings.
It's all ratings.
All
man.
ratings, man.
All ratings.
Ratings equals money, and then all of a sudden you get those ads popped up on those screens. So it all
Big black
sells.
dicks.
Big
BBD. BBD
on
club.
your face. Click
I'm
here.
part of the BBD club.
Jester, what do you think?
Did you just say you were Latino?
I'm black
Oh,
too.
yeah. There we go.
Black Tino.
That's why she has
Black
many kids.
Tino.
Yeah.
Black pubes.
Do you remember the movie?
Probably.
Tony Scott did a movie called Domino with Keira Knightley. And there's a
I
scene-
watched it.
yeah.
So good. That's
There's-
the movie that actually made me started smoking cigarettes when I was 15.
It's a dope movie. You get to see Keira Knightley topless, but there's a scene where Monique is like on a talk show. I think she's on Jerry Springer, and she starts calling people like Black Asians and like Hispanians and like all these weird names. And like Jerry Springer's like, that's not a real word, and she's like, no, Black Asians is for real. They're Black Asians. They're for real. It's a subculture taking over the world. And she goes into all these totally like J-Lo type combination racial terms. Anyway, side spew. Sorry.
Anyway,
back to your question.
Okay, so do I think social media will be allowed into courtrooms and how it has an impact on...
Do you think it'll get to the point where it can actually determine, dictate, or navigate the justice system?
No, I think, honestly, and this is my opinion, three of you might disagree with me. I think social media is on its way out. It's getting boring as fuck. It's getting really monotonous. I personally don't give a fuck about it anymore. I mean, I scroll before I go to bed and I'm done. I don't post. I don't do shit, so I don't think it's really going to have that much more of an impact in the next 3 to 4 years. The millennials will always go to it, but once the adults stop caring about it and it's just up to the millennials to keep it going, it's going to fail.
We are millennials and we're adults.
We are not millennials.
Yes, you are.
Yes, we are.
No,
Yes,
I was
you are.
born in 83. I'm not a millennial at
So
all.
was he.
Yes,
You're a
you-
millennial.
Yeah.
No, we are not. Absolutely not.
So why am I a millennial and I was born 90?
Because in the 90s to 2000, that 10-year span is the millennial generation.
No,
No, it is. No.
It is. Ask any...
Listen, queef.
A millennial is anybody born in or the 20 years after 1982.
Ha! Suck it,
We are
queef.
both millennials.
Oh, yeah, I'm borderline, and I can say that I'm going to jump the border the other way. I'm not a millennial.
This is not USA and Mexico. You're
Todd,
a millennial.
You're Generation X, right?
Yeah, I'm an old fart.
Boom. Generation X are the OGs.
The OGs.
The group that changed the world.
Yeah.
Todd, come on, agree with me, man. Like, social media is on its way out. It's getting boring
I
as
don't
fuck.
think it's going to.
I
Like,
don't
it
think
might
it's
be
gonna-
getting... It's
I think it's
gonna
as you
evolve.
grow older,
Dude.
but all the
Yeah.
young people are the ones that are all over it.
Exactly.
And the sad thing is that the younger people are getting into it. And when I mean younger, it's like they're passing it down to younger and younger and younger people that are just out. You walk around.
They
like,
have a YouTube Kids channel.
they have YouTube.
It's the worst.
It's so
It's
bad.
It's the stupidest things you'll ever put in front of your child.
Right. But the thing is, like, you give your kid a phone to play with, and they learn it. Like, my 7-year-old knows how to use a phone without a problem.
My 1-year-old
My
niece.
3-year-old can.
plays with a
Yeah.
tablet without
Ridiculous.
a problem.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So these people have access to it. And obviously you can monitor it and police it, but it's getting younger and younger and younger. So it's just growing. And it was funny. I watched an interview about millennials and their problems and why they are such a problem. Right?
Because they're queefs.
Like, besides
You're
besides
a
the
millennial.
queefing, but they talked about the whole millennial generation and the technology, how they interacted with each other, and so all the millennials are so used to getting everything handed to them so quickly because everything's just at a touch of a button.
Yeah, millennials are all
They don't have to
instant
work for
gratification.
anything.
Right.
Everything's just right there, And then when you're text messaging or going on the web and doing these different things, it's you get addicted to it because it enacts your endorphins and all that kind of stuff. So it makes you addicted to it. And so millennials don't know what it's like to work for relationships or work for real happiness because they're so addicted to a device that gives you that person.
Or an
Gives you that
orgasm.
friend, or swipe to the right, there's a person that
Ooh.
likes you now.
That's interesting.
Or an orgasm, or anything.
That's
So
interesting.
everything is at a touch of your hand, and there's no actual real interaction
No
with
connection.
people anymore, or working for something anymore. So when you tell these kids, like, oh, just put your mind to it, you can have it. You're great. You get a trophy. You get everything. And then when they get,
participate.
and then when they get
I'm gonna
older,
write that on the top
and they
report.
realize that, like, I have to actually work for my shit, and then it's not just handed to me anymore. Oh, a relationship isn't just a touch of a button. I actually have to do something to maintain it and make it happen. And that's their problem. That's why they're failing.
That's why I don't think I'm a millennial, because I don't think that way.
Okay, I don't think a millennial is a mindset. It was already just defined that it was 1980 and up.
That's a definition that just came out.
Okay, but
Okay,
now
who
that
the
it's
fuck
out,
put
now
that?
that's out, you're part of it. Sorry, Queef. Listen, I didn't
You were
put...
born in 88? 83?
Oh, you're my sister's age.
Let me
I
ask you
forgot.
guys this question. Here's like a little side note question. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Let me just...
No
I
interruption.
know... Sorry. I have to just put my 2 cents in because I know you guys think like, oh, the media is controlled, blah, 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 blah.
And you like to hear yourself talk.
Yes. Look, this is all I'm going to say. There are countries that have no internet at all. That's real control over the media, so say. So the
So
fact
true.
that you can get 2 opinions on a subject in every single category of almost every single news, not Fox, fuck Fox, but every single news outlet. I honestly don't believe there's that much control. Yes, there's control because rich people own it, but at the same time, we have so many avenues that people can see that it's not that bad. Like other countries, like other people's Korea.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine having
Venezuela,
first world,
Cuba.
third world information for sure.
That's lack of information.
Well, any kind of third world stuff, we take everything for granted. And that's the problem. Like I said, with
especially
you
as
go with the millennial
Americans.
generation, or you go with Generation X, or any of these things. We live in a society that everything's just handed to you, and it's just so quickly to get it that we take it for granted. And so we were just talking about earlier where your happiness is just being grateful for what you have. I have that conversation at home all the time. You get stressed and but look at what you could have. You could be drinking Flint water.
Yep.
You could be living in a tent. You
Yeah.
know, you could be that guy sitting in front of 7-Eleven asking for somebody to give him $1.
Yeah.
You have a car, you have a home, you have a job that's paying your bills, you have kids that are fed, you have clothes on your back. Be happy, man. Like, you're breathing air, you're doing good. And then, especially if you could do that, whether you're paycheck to paycheck or not, it's shit so fucking expensive to live in this planet right now. Like, you be happy that you can make it.
It's where you were brought up, though. Like Los Angeles, this metropolitan area, this is what I was born and bred in. So I see the different levels, and stages of money and power and all of that. A kid coming from Aleppo, Skid Row's an upgrade from Aleppo.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I was born in a middle class suburban area. This is all I know. So when I see someone driving that Lambo, it's like, there's what life's all about. That's what I want to aspire to.
It really is not that big of a deal in your happiness levels.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's how
miserable.
I know. That's how I see it. But those people that have always been at the top, that were born into rich families, that that's all they know. So when they had one step down from that, their life's a blur.
Actually, that podcast that I told you about, the happiness one guy who was a millionaire downgraded his life, and he was much happier.
There you go. All right, before we wrap up, I got a question for you guys to end the night with. If you had to go back to one of these three things, and it was the only way you could communicate, what would you hate the least? T9 text messaging, pager code, or handwritten letters?
That I would hate the least?
Yeah, like if you had to pick one of them as the only way you could communicate, what would you pick? Obviously, besides verbal. Like, this is your alternative to verbal.
Probably just handwritten letters.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to say T9 texting. You know why? When I was T9 texting, all I had to say was, hey, come over. And she came over. I didn't need to write a novel and give an explanation because all she was going to say was, okay, what time?
That was before text message could be misconstrued because there was no emotion.
Yeah, no, because you couldn't sit there and write a novel because you're like, fuck. No, T9 texting was the greatest because it was just a real quick one sentence, maybe two. That was it, and you were in.
For you young bucks out there, T9 is before there were touchscreens.
Before there were letters.
Yeah, no, there were letters, but your 9 numbers on your phone, if you look at them, they actually have 3 letters per number, and you would spell out text messages with this by going...
I really hope there's no 12-year-olds listening to this fucking podcast.
Hey, we got some young
They have to listen to the queef talk.
What about you? Which one would you pick?
Handwritten letters.
Handwritten letters.
I'm a romantic queef at heart, so, that's me.
Well, on that note, that's going to do us for this week. Thank you for your first episode as an official team member, Todd. Welcome to the show. Next week, we have the other new member for 2017, which is the return of Firefox coming back to the show. Don't forget this Thursday, so 2 days from today, you will hear Michelle Stevenson and her crew on Her Chronicles. We'll have the link up on www.theinfamouschronicles.com, or you can